Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you to Margie Prop for, again, providing interpretation for this news conference. This week, we stand in witness to history. On Monday, nurses here in Lincoln injected the first life-saving COVID-19 vaccine into the arms of our frontline healthcare professionals. Yesterday, I watched the fire trucks roll up to the health department, and then our EMTs, our emergency medical technicians, roll up their sleeves for their first vaccinations. Our nurses worked quickly, and our EMTs expressed their relief and gratitude, and everyone could feel the gravity of the pandemic lift just a little. It was a joyous day, and whoever called the vaccine hope in a bottle got it right. These moments of joy and hope are especially important during this holiday season as the pandemic impacts many of our traditions and gatherings. As we soon turn the page on an extremely difficult year, it's worth reflecting on the good that emerged. This extraordinary global crisis has also revealed extraordinary outpourings of love, kindness, gratitude, and giving. Today, we are here to celebrate the extraordinary. We are here to celebrate our community's incredible and generous spirit, a spirit that has earned us a spot on another top 10 list. This week, Lincoln was named the 8th most caring city in America. This accolade comes from the personal finance website WalletHub, which looked at 39 indicators, including our care of those experiencing homelessness, hours of volunteerism, and donations to charities and nonprofits. This ranking confirms what we already know to be true. We live in a kind and compassionate community that seeks to take care of each other. Earning a reputation for happiness and kindness is not something that happens overnight. It's a mindset and a way of life passed on from one generation to the next. But for Lincoln to be singled out amongst other American cities for these qualities and in this moment, in the midst of a global pandemic, is a remarkable tribute to all those who call Lincoln home. And it's a remarkable tribute to our community's spirit. You see this spirit in the parent giving a child coins to put in the Salvation Army's red kettle, in young Simon Brockmeyer, who raised money to improve the playground equipment at Bishop Heights Park, in the Durbin family that bakes and sells cookies to buy presents for those living at the People's City Mission. We understand that many individuals and families are not able to contribute to worthy causes this holiday season, and that makes it all the more important for those who are able to give to be generous this year. Today, we want to encourage more people in our community to help others, and in doing so, to lift their own spirits during the holidays. We're going to start with an effort inspired by the pandemic to support our frontline workers and our local businesses. The Link Heroes campaign is seeking to raise $25,000 to purchase gift cards from local businesses for healthcare workers and staff, teachers, and first responders. Yesterday, I experienced the joy of taking part in the Link Heroes campaign by presenting flowers to a kindergarten teacher at Cahoe Elementary School, who had been nominated by her student and that student's family. She giggled as she received her flowers, sharing that her sister had joked that she would never get nominated for something like this. Sisters. But the idea for Link Heroes came from a local pediatrician, Dr. Phil Boucher, and he joins us now by Zoom to update us on how this campaign of appreciation is going. Welcome, Dr. Boucher. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you for delivering those flowers yesterday. I hadn't heard that had actually happened yet, so I'm really excited to hear that. And I so appreciate everything that you've done for our community in the midst of this pandemic. And as I was talking with patients in my office, what came to light was there's a lot of people that are on the front lines that are stressed out and worried and doing the best they can right now. But there's a lot that are in the wings that want to help and want to do what's right and do something, but they can't be a nurse at a hospital or a teacher in a classroom or a first responder. And so I had the idea and got a lot of support from Kathleen Allen and Susan Rodenberg and Julie Latimer in developing this campaign called Link Heroes, which takes funds donated by the public and gives them to first responders, healthcare workers, teachers, those are on the front lines, in the form of gift cards, flowers, other services in the community, as a way to say thank you and to show the support and encouragement and appreciation of those people that are really giving it all at this moment and putting themselves in harm's way to do what's right for our community. And so far, in about 10 days, we've raised over $10,000. We've had over 300 nominations to receive a meal, over 100 to receive flowers. And it's been so inspiring to see the community outreach and support. And we made it to that $10,000 mark in 10 days with donations from the public. Most of the donations were $25, $50. And so it was just inspiring for me to see the community come together and show their appreciation and support for those on the front lines. And in fact, I just realized today that I've gotten a couple letters from people that aren't very tech savvy from those. So I need to add these into the list, but I got a couple of long letters about the people that they wanted to nominate, but weren't able to do it online. So it's been really inspiring to me and inspiring to see the results of this. And I'm grateful that everybody is participating. And if those that haven't participated yet or would like to, the website is lnkheroes.org. And on that website, you can donate. On that website, you can nominate somebody, a teacher, a healthcare worker, including anybody in the hospital or clinic setting. It doesn't just have to be a nurse or a physician or respiratory therapist. Everybody in the hospital is helping and going above and beyond at this moment. Teacher, school support staff, first responder. You can go in and you can nominate them. And then what we'll do is we'll send them a gift card. We'll send them a warm meal from a local restaurant, or we'll send them flowers, or hook them up with some other services in the community so that they can feel the appreciation of our community. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you for everything that you have done, and thank you for spotlighting this.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Boucher. Thank you for catalyzing people's energy. So many people in our community want to help, and you've given them such a clear pathway for doing good and making a difference in people's lives here in our community, and recognizing and appreciating the everyday acts of heroism out there in Lincoln. So thank you again for this. Again, that's linkheroes.org, right? Okay. At the very beginning of the pandemic, the city joined the philanthropic organizations and business partners to launch another form of assistance called the Lincoln COVID-19 Response Fund. And this fund is designed to assist nonprofits who are trying so hard to address the increased demand for services and the increased amount of need in our community. The fund is designed to rapidly deploy really flexible resources to local nonprofits who are working to serve those disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, including those who have newly become vulnerable as a result of the pandemic and this public health emergency. The fund is hosted by the Lincoln Community Foundation, and today Michelle Polk is with us. She's the foundation's Vice President for Community Outreach. She joins us by Zoom to update us on the donations and grants the donations they've received and the grants they've supported. And Michelle, over to you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you stated, the Response Fund is at the Community Foundation. $1.2 million has been raised to date from generous donors in our community. It was amazing to see these dollars come in to support the local community like they did. To date, the Response Fund Committee has made grants totaling $932,000, all to local organizations who are supporting people who are disproportionately affected by this pandemic. The committee has actually suspended grant making in the fourth quarter of this year because CARES Act dollars have come through the state to our local nonprofits, and those were required to be spent by December 30th. So while those dollars have been doing good in the community, the Response Fund Committee has held on to the remaining $300,000 in the fund, knowing that this is a long-term pandemic. So the committee is going to meet again in early January and start to discuss options for the remaining dollars in the fund. The committee is a broad range of individuals from our community, and we're going to be looking at the needs that are happening now in order to really strategically use those remaining dollars to have the greatest impact on members of our community that have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. Donations are still being accepted to the fund at the Community Foundation. You can go to lcf.org to make a credit card gift, or you can mail a check to the Lincoln Community Foundation. We're at 215 Centennial Mall South, Suite 100, 68508. And 100% of donations to the COVID-19 Response Fund are granted back out to local nonprofits, just like the Food Bank and the Center for People in Need that I know you're going to be talking to shortly.
Great. Thank you so much, Michelle, for all of your work to distribute those funds. Thank you to all the members of the COVID-19 Response Fund Committee who've helped advise and make those distributions possible. And thank you to all the generous donors who've participated to help others in need during the pandemic. Next, we want to feature two of the nonprofits who have received grants from the COVID-19 Response Fund. They, of course, represent organizations that are experiencing increased demand for their services. First, we'll hear from the Food Bank of Lincoln. Development Director John Mabry is with us to talk about their efforts at the food bank to feed the hungry in our community. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Mayor, for all that you're doing, too. We appreciate it. Mayor was at one of our food collections a couple weeks ago at Hy-Vee on a Saturday, so thank you for giving up your time that day. We do have a lot of need right now that we're seeing at the food bank, and we really appreciate the community support. We have great partners like the Lincoln Community Foundation, the Center for People in Need. Chris will be on soon, and we couldn't do it without that support, so we really appreciate that. We need all the help we can get right now, so we are definitely grateful for it. The big fella, Scott Young, my boss, couldn't be here today, but if he were here, he would share our pandemic priorities. There's a photo there of one of our first distributions in March when all of this started. We had one at the food bank with hundreds of folks lined up at the food bank on a Saturday. And so that was when we were just starting to kind of deal with the incredible need. But our pandemic priorities are getting food to people, staff safety, and volunteer safety, and I will talk about that. But right now, as far as numbers that we're seeing at our distributions, we're seeing 300, 400, 500 families at a time at our distributions. This afternoon, we'll be at Nebraska Innovation Campus. If you know anyone who needs help, all are welcome. We do not ask questions. We want folks there that feel comfortable, and we hear a lot of, we're hearing more and more from folks who are telling us, this is the first time I've had to do this. What do I do? And so there isn't anything that we ask other than just pull up, open your trunk, and we'll fill it with food. And today we'll be at Innovation Campus. Tomorrow we'll be at the former Perkins location on Northwest 12th near the airport. Thanks to Whitehead Oil for sharing a space there with us so that we can help folks there. Mondays we're at the Lancaster Event Center in the afternoon. They've been wonderful partners to host a food distribution, and we're in our schools, or outside our schools, on Tuesdays doing drive-thrus at different schools. And St. Mark's Church has also been a great partner, and we do our Wednesday morning distributions there. We're seeing about a 20% increase in the need due to the pandemic. And so obviously that means that the lines are going to be longer and longer. We're seeing as many as 400 folks, even 500 plus at our distributions. The image here is from Roper Elementary from a recent Tuesday night where we had over 400 families who needed assistance. So, the vaccine is here, and it is hope in a bottle. The mayor's right, but there are still folks who are just now dealing with situations that they never imagined and needing help and hope. If you see our tents around town, those are because of the winter months. We've set up tents at some of these locations. There's one actually at Innovation Campus where we'll be this afternoon, so folks can just pull through, and our staff will take care of them. So the question about what we need right now, the number one need for the food bank right now would be dollars. I know folks are doing food drives, and we appreciate those food drives, and we are not discouraging food drives. But right now we need dollars because we have to buy such large quantities of food to meet the need. So if you can make a financial gift, you can go to our website and do that. As I mentioned, the Lincoln Community Foundation, that COVID relief fund has been a wonderful benefit. The CARES Act dollars are helping. Dollars are the number one need. Food is great, and we welcome those donations, but we can take $1 and turn it into 3 meals, and so that's a pretty some pretty good math right there. As far as volunteers right now, we're not accepting volunteers at the food bank just to keep everyone safe. We hope to relax that and end those restrictions soon. The staff's working hard, and we would love to have our volunteers. I spoke to one of our regular volunteers yesterday, and he's just kind of heartbroken that he can't come out to help right now. But that's just the way it is, and we hope folks understand that. We hope to be able to get volunteers back soon. Lastly, what we need is a compassion and understanding from folks. Occasionally we'll get the question that will come to us that someone will say, well, how do you know all those folks in that line at Roper or at Innovation Campus really need the food? And the answer is we don't know. But we know that most of them do need it, and a lot of them have never had to do this before. And they need our help, and they need your help. So we're grateful for all of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything the food bank is doing. Thank you for your powerful message of compassion. We all need to be offering compassion and grace to others during this pandemic. The Center for People in Need is another organization that is working tirelessly to support some of the most vulnerable in our community and to help those meet their basic needs like food or diapers. The center's executive director, Chris Funk, now joins us by Zoom to tell us more about what they're seeing on the ground. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate your hosting this. And I want to thank John and the Food Bank for all they're doing, because they are major partners with us. We couldn't do our work without them. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, we're a nonprofit that provides basic safety net services like food and diapers to low-income people, as well as education and training that can help people become more financially independent. But this year, of course, we've really focused on food and diapers. And when the pandemic hit mid-March, we moved all of our food and diaper distribution to the parking lot for a drive-through system. And that meant that we have to pre-bag all of our food and, of course, lift the food into the trunks of cars and have a lot of other equipment. It was a big change for us and a great deal more expense as well. But what we've seen, as others and John has referred to, is an enormous increase in the number of people that we're seeing. From January of last year, we have increased our numbers. These are unduplicated families by 156%. So in November, we saw 3,473 unique families that came through food once a week, maybe averaging 3 times a month. We've also, as part of that, we distributed 2,500 temporary cards. And so those are people who've never been to us before and are new to the issues of, and often new to the issues of poverty and struggling. We hear a lot of different stories from them. Often it's they've lost their job, or they've lost their job, of course, and their health insurance, or their hours have been cut, and they're struggling to pay rent, utilities, and certainly food and diapers. It's most of them do not have enough savings to take them through this pandemic. So it's a crisis for many, many families in Lincoln. The good thing is that if there's a good piece to this, and I'm glad the mayor spoke to it, is there's been a tremendous outpouring of support from the community, from our current donors to the foundations, local foundations, and federal government. They've all stepped up to make it possible for us to be serving so many more people. One of the focuses too, in addition to food, is diapers. And we have, if we have a slide of this, these children who have come forward to, who ran a diaper drive for us. No, that's another drive-through. But anyway, these children, Adeline, Alexa, and Cohen, decided that there they are, that they should do a diaper drive, and they got their parents involved, and they brought us a good number of diapers, and we were really appreciative of that. That is something that people can help with, in addition to money that we need to do our food operations. Diaper drives, while we're not looking for food donations, we do look for diaper donations. And if you want, you can go to our info at cfpin.org and learn more about how to do a diaper drive or how that might work. You can also go online at cfpin.org to learn about how you can donate to us as well. We are extremely grateful for all the support we've gotten, and we expect we're going to need to keep this up. The pandemic may end, but I think the poverty that has come out of this is likely to last a long time. So if we all work together, as we are doing now, I think we can help everyone through this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for your leadership, for everything that you and the supporters of the Center for People in Need are doing for some of the most vulnerable and newly vulnerable in our community. And again, that's cfpin.org if you want to help and get involved in supporting their tremendous work. Finally, today we want to remind everyone that there is an opportunity to give the gift of life through a blood donation. And joining us is Carrie Lundeen, the Community Outreach Representative for the Nebraska Community Blood Bank. In addition to talking about the need for blood donations, she'll update us on the collection of convalescent plasma for area hospitals that is helping them in their pandemic efforts. Over to you, Carrie.
Thank you, Mayor, for having us here today. And we're honored to be here to share this platform with other wonderful Lincoln Community Foundations, the Lincoln Community Foundation, the Food Bank of Lincoln, and the Center for People in Need. The blood supply has had a dangerously low inventory for several months, if not during this entire pandemic. For the blood supply to be stable, we need 4,000 donors at our donor centers and our blood drives, or roughly 1,000 a week. The blood that is collected by Nebraska Community Blood Bank directly affects patients here in Lincoln, surrounding areas, and Omaha. We have wonderful partners in Bryan Health. We also are the sole supplier of blood to Nebraska Medicine, Methodist Health Systems, and Children's Hospital. Nearly 100% of the blood that is collected with Nebraska Community Blood Bank stays right here in our state. We have started antibody testing this week for the specific COVID-19 antibodies. It's going to be through January 31st. We received emergency funding through the federal government program Operation Warp Speed. Many blood banks throughout the country were chosen to be a part of this, and we were lucky enough to be a part of that group. On top of doing the antibody testing, this funding is also to help us identify convalescent plasma donors, those people who have tested positive for COVID-19 or have the presence of the antibodies in their system. Though there is no new cure for COVID-19, we have seen that convalescent plasma has greatly affected the treatment for those the most ill. Blood drives have greatly decreased. Nearly 50% of the blood collected before the pandemic was brought in by blood drives. And the organizations and high schools and colleges find it difficult to have blood drives right now. We still need the blood to be on the shelf. So, for an example, last December, we had 49 blood drives in the month, and this December we have 8. So that paints a pretty large picture of the dramatic decrease that we've seen in blood donations. I want to encourage everybody to donate if you can, as some traditions this holiday season have to be canceled or postponed. We ask that you start a new tradition of donating blood. Make an appointment for yourself or even with your family. We don't want anybody to be discouraged if the appointments are filled or the donor centers on the days that you are looking for, because we're really going to need this into January and into 2021. So make those appointments for the upcoming months. And you can do that at ncbb.org/donate. You can call us at 402-486-9414. You can go on our site to learn more about convalescent plasma donation at ncbb.org/CP. And lastly, when we have reached out to the community to answer the call to increase blood donations and to get that blood on the shelf for our hospitals, Lincoln community and surrounding areas has always answered. And so we have appreciated all of the donors who have given during these past several months and for their future donations also.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and to everyone at the blood bank. I mean, we are so grateful to all those who have rolled up their sleeves to donate. And this is another really pragmatic, practical, proactive way that you can protect our healthcare system. As hospitals start to resume surgeries, they need blood to help serve our community, to help heal people who are sick. So again, we encourage everyone to make a blood donation if they're able. To help support these agencies, we have posted links to all 5 of their organizations on our COVID-19 website. Again, that's covid19.lincoln.ne.gov. And you can go to our resident resources page, click on that button, and find out more. These campaigns of appreciation, these efforts to support those in our community and the nonprofits we feature today are just a few of the hundreds of worthy causes in our local community that deserve our support. Again, if you are able to share your time or your talents or your resources this holiday, know that you will make the season brighter for someone else, and in doing so, make it brighter for yourself. At this point, we'll open up for questions from the media if there are any today. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for what you're doing to support everyone in our community, to be a part of that remarkable Lincoln spirit of compassion, kindness, generosity, and love. Take care.